Hello and welcome to Addicted to the Mouse. Today is Sunday, September 2nd. You're listening to episode number 63. Today we're talking about what to pack for your next Walt Disney World vacation.
Hey everybody, Dan and Leslie here. Thanks for joining us this week. We are super excited to talk about what to pack for Walt Disney World. This idea actually came from one of our friends, April. So thank you for helping us out this week and coming up with a great podcast topic.
It is a good podcast topic. We should have done this a long time
I know,
ago.
I'm surprised that we haven't done this one.
Talk about trips to Walt Disney. What do you take to Walt Disney World? I don't know. So if you have anything that you'd like to hear, shoot us an email at danandleslie, Leslie, at addictedtothemouse.com. So I'm going to say it again. We are putting these videos, we're putting these podcasts on video.
Yes.
So if you'd like to see what we're talking about on what to pack, you can look us up on YouTube. That's our YouTube channel. You can search Addicted to the Mouse. It's fine, but our official name is Worth Melting For. It's all one word, Worth Melting, and then the number 4.
Yes.
So if you want to check that out, or any of our vacations or soon-to-be educational or I guess trip planning videos that we're going to start putting out. Do that. So if you're watching, thanks so much. Hit the thumbs up and the subscribe button, and you can get all these videos
Alerted to you whenever
if you hit the little
out.
bell, I guess.
Yeah.
So okay, let's get into this. Right.
All right. I'm excited. Let's do it.
So how we're going to do this is we are going to go through this. We have actually compared our lists today, so it's not a surprise like some of the episodes that we do.
True.
But I am going to touch on some of the things that I make sure that I pack on my end, and Leslie is much more the packer. It's funny because about a week before we go to one of these Disney World vacations or Disney cruise vacations or whatever, she'll have
The suitcases are already out.
laid out and packing, and you've got a list that you work off of for, I mean, literally it's like 5 to 7 days before we leave. So I think it's down to a pretty fine science. But there are some things that we do that just after going time and time again, I wouldn't have ever thought to take some of these things. It's just like creature comfort type things, some tips and tricks. So, all right, you want to go first?
Sure. All right. So, this one is not like...
Sorry, can I say one more thing?
Yes.
All right, so we are not going to just caveat touch on all of the, like, no kidding. If you don't know that you probably should take some shorts with you to Walt Disney World, or
don't forget your
some
clothes.
underwear or things like that. That's not really what we're going to do. So we're going to do the things that...
don't forget your toothbrush,
right,
but we're not going to talk about
toiletries,
it today.
deodorant. You want to take that stuff. Socks are probably a good idea.
Yeah.
But anyway, okay.
Okay. So the first one that I'm going to talk about is not necessarily like a... necessary, you're going to be totally devastated if you don't take it.
Okay.
It's more of a fun thing to pack, and it is Mickey ears or costumes. So, and by costumes, I mean, if you're going to Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party, definitely pack some costumes. But I also mean like if you're doing Bippity Boppity Boutique and don't want to fork over the $200 in order to...
Oh my gosh. Every time you tell me how much it costs is crazy.
It breaks you a little inside, doesn't
Really?
it? And you don't want to purchase a dress there, pack a dress that you purchased at Walmart or last year on the Halloween clearance rack. And then you'll have the dress and you can spend just the $65 for the hair and makeup and all of that.
So another thing that you might consider packing that kind of goes along with that, bringing something Disney from home so you don't have to pay the 400% markup that Disney charges there, are some Disney stuffed animals. So we did this once with our kids. It's actually on our July 2015 trip on YouTube. But I put some Disney stuffed animals in my backpack, my carry-on from the plane, and I ran up to the room before you and the kids got there, and I put them on the bed as kind of a surprise, which was awesome because they already had Disney stuffed animals, which they love to get anyway.
Yeah, it was super fun. Added a little magic to the trip.
Yeah, and Amazon is way cheaper than buying them at Disney World.
Oh, absolutely. And then just to expound on the Mickey ears a little bit, it definitely helps with the hair. If you have hair with a lot of body in it whenever humidity hits, like I do.
Yeah.
If you wear ears, it makes your hair stay controlled a little. So.
Good tip.
Yes.
I am going to touch on a couple of pieces of clothing real quick. I know I said we weren't going to talk about clothing, but there are some things that just I always tend to forget is a belt. I have bought a couple of belts on Disney vacations. So if you do forget a belt at Disney Springs, probably the best place or cheapest place to get one is at Disney Springs at the, what's the name of that store?
I don't, the Uniqlo.
Yes, thank you. Uniqlo, right there at Town Square. That's a good place to get a belt for relatively inexpensive. And then shoe wear. So you always want to make sure that you have some very, very good walking shoes because you're going to be doing lots and lots and lots of walking. But in addition to those, I would suggest maybe consider some swim shoes if you're going to spend any time in the resort pool or a water park. And then also, I always take what I call lounge shoe. And they're really like Crocs is mainly what I do, but these could be flip-flops, they could be sandals, anything that is comfortable for you to wear that you're not having to march 10 or 12 miles a day in. So we will use those if we go to a park for the entire day. We'll wear walking shoes, and then maybe we'll come back, take a break, and then go either to dinner or Disney Springs or something like that, and I'll switch over to my quote-unquote lounge shoe. It's more comfortable. It's not more comfortable if you're walking for 9 miles straight.
Yeah. And I would like to add to the clothing is that whenever you think you're going to Disney World, you don't ever think that you'll really need a jacket or a sweatshirt. But sometimes in the evening, depending on the time of year, it can definitely get a little chilly. Or if a nice rainstorm has come through and it's a little breezy and stuff, it can make you feel cold whenever you go into some place because you're a little bit wet. So having a jacket or a sweatshirt is kind of nice to pack just in case.
Okay, so the next one is the swimsuit. So don't forget your swimsuits because any time of year you go, Disney heats the pools. So if you're there in the winter, you can still actually play in the pool. I don't necessarily get in the pools when we're there when it's cold. However, the splash pads are pretty cool.
Oh, they are super fun
if it's cold. So so there always is an opportunity to swim, even if you think it might not be the best weather.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, I'm gonna hit the sunglasses, sunscreen.
Why? Why is that? Why would you?
So, like, you forget your belt, I forget my sunglasses. So I've had to purchase a pair whenever we go. But definitely remember your sunglasses because the sun blazing down on the concrete in Florida blinds you.
It is the glare off the concrete is, man, it's brutal. You definitely want some sunglasses in Disney World for sure.
The time that I forgot, we were just going for the weekend and I thought, oh, I could probably push through, and we're walking through Disney Springs and I literally had to close my eyes. I was like, I can't do this. So we had to go buy some sunglasses. But then also sunscreen and bug spray along with that. So they do have mosquitoes in Disney World, so take some bug spray and then also sunscreen. I wipe the little sunscreen stick on me and the kids every morning and spray our arms and necks before we go out. So you don't realize how quickly you can get sunburned.
You can buy that stuff in the Disney Resort gift shops.
For $4,000.
Yes, they are not cheap. So, and you're going to touch on the ordering.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll let you do that. All right. Here's one for me that is maybe a little disgusting, but I'm going to say it anyway just because you need to know. Foot spray or foot powder or both. So walking 9-10 miles a day in shoes, your feet get sweaty, especially on the asphalt, the hot concrete.
Or wet from riding Cali River Rapids.
Exactly. So if you have some antifungal cream or spray, or if you just want to dry your feet out and just take some foot powder and then along that same line is moleskin.
Oh, yes.
This is a huge tip. Moleskin is not readily available anywhere in Disney World that I have found. I'm sure it's there somewhere. But it is, if you get a blister on if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm going to throw a picture of it up on the video. But yeah, get some moleskin, and to apply that, you want to cut 2 circles in this moleskin. So basically, you want to cut a circle that's a little bit bigger than the blister, and then cut the center of that circle out so that the blister can actually breathe, so it's not rubbing on the blister itself. But you're basically keeping the friction of the sock and the shoe off of the blister. So.
Yeah. Yep. Good tip.
Yeah.
All right, so the next thing is kind of just a fun thing. If you think your children are going to be into the pressed pennies, or you know that they will be into the pressed pennies.
Now, what's a pressed penny?
Okay, so these you can find anywhere, basically, like zoos and aquariums, and if you've traveled anywhere, you'll see these pressed pennies that you put in like 2 quarters and a penny, and it presses a design into there. It's kind of like a little memorabilia.
So it looks like kind of a 6 foot tall, maybe 2x2 kind of square, like wood thing with these big gears inside of it.
The machine, not the penny.
Well, right, yeah.
So I always, the kids always really love to get those. And I found that I was having to like dig into the bottom of my purse, trying to like pray that there's one more penny there. And so I started taking mini M&M containers, and we'd eat the mini M&Ms. And then before the trip, I'd fill it with 2 quarters and a penny, 2 quarters and a penny. And I just stack them up. And then that way, anytime the kids said, "Oh, Mom, I want this pressed penny," all I'd have to do is pull out my little mini M&M container and knock out a couple of coins. And
because
so
the top 3 coins that would fall out would be 2 quarters and a penny. Yeah, it's pretty good. They got a kick out of that, and it worked out. And then the mini M&M containers look like quarter rolls basically that are plastic, so it works out really well.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna go through just an overview of what paperwork you could possibly need. So this is not all inclusive, but just I'm trying to get you to remember your paperwork. This is really, really important. So number 1 is identification.
Mm-hmm.
So driver's license is an absolute must for Disney World. Passports could be a must if you're going on a cruise. Disneyland, identification, you have to be able to prove who you are. And then that also extends to discounts. So if you're, for instance, in the military, we used to use a lot of military discounts when we first started going, and you have to have your military ID. Same thing with AAA discounts. You can't even activate if you do end up getting tickets through, some sort of discounted place. That's basically it. As military is the biggest discount. Bring that ID with you, or you won't be able to activate them. You'll have to pay full price.
Right.
Bring the tickets themselves if you have the ticket card that was sent to you. If you didn't purchase a package through a travel agent specializing in Disney, hey. And boarding passes. So you're going to want to bring those if you're going to fly. I do all of that basically on my phone, so I'll download the mobile boarding passes, but just make sure you have them. And then, ironically, the last time we went to Disney World, we flew down, and they wouldn't take the mobile boarding pass.
Yeah.
So, we were almost late to the plane because we had to go stand in this giant line of people checking bags to get boarding passes. So, anyway, think about that. Theme park tickets, insurance cards, so medical insurance cards, automobile insurance cards if you're driving or renting a car. Membership cards, if you're a DVC member, annual pass holder, anything like that, those cards, tables in Wonderland if you have that discount. And then finally, however your form of payment is going to be, so if you're taking credit cards, if you want cash, whatever you're going to do, just make sure that you can pay for the thousands of dollars in souvenirs you're likely to come home with.
Yes. And you just made me think of something that I don't think is on either one of our lists. And that is to notify your bank before you go.
Ooh, yeah, that's not really a packing list item, but that is a good tip.
Yes. So always remember to notify your bank before you travel. Our bank is really, really good about fraud alerts.
Yeah.
And so we've gone on trips before and go to pay with our credit card and get declined because we haven't notified them that we were going to be out of the country.
Well, so the last time that happened, I actually did notify them, but we were taking a Disney cruise out of Galveston, so I notified them that we were traveling to Texas, and we got halfway through this cruise, and they tried to charge our card, and it was a fraud alert because the charge came from Orlando, where the cruise ship was registered from. I guess the charge comes from Orlando.
Or Port Canaveral or something.
Whatever, yeah. And so I had to call from the cruise ship. Now, side note, if you're on a Disney cruise and they are not getting paid, they will let you make that phone call for free. So that is something that you can do. You can get it fixed fairly easily. They will
They're
work
like, yes,
with you.
please call your bank.
Right.
All right, so my next one is a bag inside a bag. So we've done this
Yes.
actually a couple of different ways. We have actually packed like the smaller rolling suitcase inside of the larger rolling suitcase, and then just pack all your stuff in and around that, so that whenever you're coming home, you have two bags that you can fill up to kind of accommodate for souvenir space. The other way we've done that is to flatten down some larger duffel bags into the suitcase so that whenever we come home, we can take those duffel bags out and end up using them. So just
Usually
know,
just one duffel bag.
Yeah,
We're not coming
yeah,
home
yeah,
with. So yeah, you're going to come home with more stuff than you take there, and so you just want a way to transport that back. I mean, I guess if you wanted to go to FedEx and just mail it all to yourself, that would be one option. Or if you just, take one empty bag in one form or fashion and just know that you're going to have to pay to check that bag or carry it on if you have extra room.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
that's a
I'd
good
say
tip.
on that same note, regardless if you think that your kids will need a backpack on the way down, I would go ahead and make them carry a backpack, even if it's empty, because on the way home, that's a great place for them to put their souvenirs.
Absolutely. Okay, my next one is antacids. So this is a big one for me. So we have, I wouldn't say a strict diet, but we tend to eat a certain way while we are home.
I think all of us probably eat healthier whenever we're home.
Sure. And when we are at Disney World, it all goes out the window. I mean, we're eating all kinds of stuff we normally don't eat, which, it tastes really good, but leads to indigestion. And if you've got some Tums that you can just carry with you, that tends to help.
Yeah.
So you're not paying for it the entire time you're there.
Yeah, and I'm going to piggyback on that and say that I pack medicine and cough drops every time we go, and the medicines include kids' Motrin or Tylenol, Motrin and Tylenol for us, cough drops. If it's the time of season, I will even throw in some cold medicine or something. I feel like I do this for two reasons. One, it wards off evil. In a way, I feel like
evil.
I feel like if I pack it, then I probably won't need it.
This is the most magical place on earth. You don't need. There's no evil there.
But also because if I do need it, like with the sunscreen, you can get it there. It's just going to be really expensive.
Yeah, and you're buying them in like two pill little packages for a couple bucks each. It gets a little crazy.
Yeah.
You just made me think of something. What was it? Motion sickness medication if you're going on a cruise. Or if you want to ride rides that give you motion sickness, I guess.
Yeah.
Whatever.
That is also a good tip.
All right, my turn. So cell phones and chargers. I pretty much think most people would remember their cell phone, but I've forgotten my charger several times.
Yeah.
And then I'll get to that next part. But yeah, cell phones and then the chargers that go for the cell phones.
Yeah, that's always on our list for packing because we're bound and determined to forget those.
Well, right. And then so our kids have our old cell phones, so we need multiple chargers for multiple cell phones. Yes. And then lots of chargers. Lots of chargers here.
Lots of chargers. All right, my next one is hand sanitizer. While you are in the most magical place on earth, people go and they're not well. We've seen some unfortunate illness events from other families.
We don't need to go into that.
Well, we're not going to, but it's just nice to be able to pull out a bottle of hand sanitizer, before you actually eat or whatever.
That's a great tip. That every time we sit down and get, anything from a Mickey bar to a Gaston's cinnamon roll to a full meal. As soon as we sit down at the table, we're pulling out that hand sanitizer, just a quick sanitize.
Just a quick wash.
My next one is Ziploc bags. And so I like to take a kind of a mixed sampling or a mixed bag of the Ziploc bags, if you will. And these are really, really handy for like the gallon size. If you want to take a change of clothes for a little one, stick them in the Ziploc bag, dry clothes in the Ziploc bag. And then if they run through a splash pad, like there's a really cool splash pad at Magic Kingdom over in Fantasyland. It's always fun, but then you're always soaked afterwards. So if you stick some like flip flops or something in the bag, and then some dry clothes, they can play through there as much as they want to, and then they can change afterwards, which is nice.
Yeah.
And then also, I always carry a Ziploc bag for anything electronic if I'm going on water rides.
Specifically, Cali River Rapids.
Cali River Rapids, Splash Mountain. I mean, Splash Mountain you usually don't get too wet, but even still, I'll have like a small a bag for my cell phone to just stick it in and stick it in my pocket. So it's definitely better to have than not, I guess.
Absolutely.
Oh, and then it rains a lot in Florida, so that's. I mean, forget water rides. I mean, if it's a drenching rain, I would rather just stick my cell phone in a Ziploc bag, stick it in my pocket, and then continue the vacation. Like, rain isn't going to slow us down, except for the fact that I don't want it to ruin my cell phone. So.
Right. Well, I'll just jump ahead and piggyback on the rain, and I would go to I go to the dollar store before we leave and get cheap ponchos.
Yes.
Lots of them.
Yep.
Because then, one, if we want to ride something and we don't particularly want to get drenched, we'll throw on a poncho. But two, if there is a really drenching rain, then we can throw on those ponchos. Granted, they are cheap. They're not going to be sturdy like the $20 ones that you can buy in the park. But these rainstorms typically don't last that awful long. So it usually can get you through at least until...
Yeah, they're definitely disposable. You're only going to use them once, but really I'd rather just spend $1, use it once, throw it away, than to try and use a $20 poncho, dry it off, fold it back up, stick it back in the bag, get it back, you know.
Right. But if using a $20 poncho is your thing, then go for it.
Or you could just stitch all of the Ziploc bags together and go that way. Little duct tape. Okay, my next one is an autograph book with a pen. So it kind of stinks. Like, some of these character meals, they're moving away from actually having the characters autographing your book, and you'll get like a card with the autographs pre-written on there. But they still do. You still can get autographs at character meet and greets and stuff, and some character meals. So we've had them autograph all kinds of stuff. We've had them autograph books, the matting for like a picture frame. So we'll get a mat. They autograph that, and then we'll put a Disney World picture in there and frame it.
That's one of my favorites.
A bag, like a canvas, like a beach bag. You had them autograph one of those. Little figurines, little white figurine. Anyway, something to autograph.
Yeah. So just think that their hands are very big and bulky. So try to keep that in mind whenever you're picking something for them to autograph.
Like a big pen, like a big...
Yeah. They can typically do Sharpies and stuff, but I felt really bad one time whenever I took like the little mini short Sharpie things, and I was like, oh, this was not a smart idea. So keep that in mind, but it is fun. And I like to branch out outside of the autograph book, because I can't even tell you, I don't think the kids have even looked at those autographs after we got back home, but the frame and the little figure that they can set on their dresser and the bag, we've seen those over and over again. So try to think uniquely. Now, something on that is that if you want them to sign like a T-shirt or a hat, they will not sign it while it's on your person. So you have to, like, bring the T-shirt with you.
What's sad is that they actually have to tell people that. I mean,
yeah. Well,
will they sign a cast? I mean, that's one thing that I could see if you're wearing.
I don't know, but that would be so cool. Like,
right?
That would totally.
But it's not like you
spirit.
Can just take it off and hand them the cast.
It's true. I think that might be a special case. I mean, I'm thinking that the shirt is, I don't know. They don't want to get close to people's private.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to go with a power strip next. So yeah, exactly. So power strips help really, really well in the rooms, and the especially if you're like us. We got 4 in our family, and each one of us has all kinds of crazy electronics. I mean, from Apple Watches to iPhones to computer to video camera batteries to GoPro batteries to you name it. The kids, our old cell phones the kids have. You got it's just a ton of charging stuff. So
to be fair, most of the electronics are ours.
Well, yeah, but everything takes one and you can get the power strips that have not only plugs on them but also USB.
Yes, those are nice.
Yeah, because you can fit more of them in a smaller little section. So.
Yes, very good. All right. So my next one is laundry supplies. If you want to do laundry,
Yep.
if you are staying in a room that has a washer and dryer, they will put, you'll get like one little thing of laundry soap. It's like a random brand. So, if you're particular about what you want, or if you think you're going to be doing multiple loads of laundry, bring your own laundry stuff. You could just pack a little Ziploc bag of laundry detergent. Don't put that in your carry-on. Put that in your checked luggage, because otherwise you'll get stopped and it'll get tested and all of that.
Protein powder as well. That's
Yes.
I got patted down for bomb making materials when I brought a bag of to be fair, it was a Ziploc bag that with protein powder looked kind of shady, but whatever.
Yeah.
That is a good point. Now, you're not going to have a washer and dryer in a normal, just standard hotel room. Those are like 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom villas, like DVC style rooms. But if you know that you've booked one of those, absolutely bring that. You can also bring the laundry detergent, and they have communal type like laundry rooms
Like a laundromat
in
type
resorts
thing,
that you can use those. You can use it there,
Yeah.
or you can do what we do and just wear dirty clothes. Just kidding. Okay, my next one is any sort of recording device. So we obviously record all of our vacations. We're always recording or taking pictures. So we've got the iPhones out taking pictures. We've got a DSLR that we're taking pictures. We've got a DJI Osmo is our current video recorder of choice, just because it is a basically it's a drone camera made by DJI, but it is on a 3-axis gimbal, and so it is very, very smooth. It's like a self-containing Steadicam. So our first videos on YouTube were really choppy and jumpy, because every time you step, it like bounced. But
because I can't seem to hold a camera straight to
that's
save
true.
my life.
I wasn't going to call you out,
That's
but
okay.
yeah, that's absolutely true. So just anything that you're going to record with, and then also obviously the batteries for it and the chargers for it, but also plenty of SD cards.
Yeah.
So depending on how much you're going to record, you might want to think through that. Like we take 3 to 4 SD cards every time we go, and we totally fill them up.
Yeah. So which we
And
record.
those are like 64 gigabyte SD cards.
Yeah, we record probably more than the average person does, because we do it with the mindset of making the YouTube videos that we do.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to say, I totally regret not having videos from those first couple of trips that we took, because I have memories that I wish I could see them again.
What's fun? Like even on like a Saturday morning, we'll get up and we'll have some coffee, and we'll just turn on one of our old videos on YouTube just to relive those memories. And you know what? If you take the camera and you record everything and you never watch it again, okay, so what? But if you don't take a camera and you don't record anything, you're going to spend all this money, and it's just, I mean, you're going to have maybe some photos, but I don't know. It's nice having the videos. So
It is nice.
for us anyway.
Yeah.
All
right, magic bands. Don't forget your magic
bands.
Granted, if you forget them, you could purchase another set.
They're not cheap though.
They're not cheap. You may be able to get like the gray plain old ones at the front desk. I don't know if they would give them to you or if they would charge you for them again, but magic bands, put it on your list so that you don't forget it.
Yeah,
and
just wear them. Just like get up that morning and throw them on. I mean, you're going to Disney World.
That's right. And if you are wanting to make this a surprise vacation, just know that your magic bands come in a white plain box. So once you get closer to your vacation and you've already personalized them, just kind of keep in the back of your head. Don't whip open that box in front of your children.
So here's a pro tip for the magic bands themselves. You can get these keepers.
They're
what are they called? Fitbit?
Well, it's the Bit Clips. Bit Clips, is that right?
I don't know. We get them off Amazon. They are. I'll try to throw a picture up on the video, but it's basically like a little rectangular band,
thick rubber bandish type thing.
Thick rubber band, maybe like a third of an inch, maybe a quarter inch wide, that you can fit over both ends of the magic band. It's made for Fitbits. It's made for fitness trackers.
Yeah.
So they don't fall off. So the magic band, it's got it's got that clasp system, but if you hit it on something, it'll pop off, and then you'll spend hours retracing your steps looking for your magic band when your child lost it. So
yeah. So that's a good tip. Good tip. And those things are really cheap. It's like $6 for a package of several of them.
So my next one is something that you maybe shouldn't bring to Disney World. We purposefully will short ourselves on a couple of shirts. So if we're staying for 7 nights, we might take 5 shirts, just knowing that we're going to want to buy a couple of T-shirts from Disney, and we'll wear those as part of our clothes. They're new. We don't throw them in the wash. We just buy them, and then we'll wear them to the park the next day.
Yeah.
So it saves room going. You don't necessarily have to worry about that being extra room because it's something you would have taken anyway in the luggage. But, if you think you're going to buy some shirts while you're there, maybe don't take a ton of clothes.
Yeah. Also, things not to bring.
Okay. All right.
Are weapons, obviously.
Yeah.
As well as your selfie sticks. So Disney has a pretty strict rule on selfie sticks, and they will confiscate them at security, and you can pick them back up at the end of the day, I think. But yeah, don't bring your selfie sticks. Don't bring, even if you have a concealed carry license, don't bring your gun. Don't bring your knives.
Nope.
I can't think of what else, but those are kind of the big things that I've heard about people bringing that they don't really think about.
Swords, brass knuckles, all of it. Leave it all at home.
Brass knuckles.
Okay, so my next one is an external battery charger, and these come in many different forms. The ones you can get off Amazon are you can find them for fairly cheap, and they can charge like an iPhone multiple times over. They're a little bit bigger than what we carry. We carry the fuel rod. So fuel rod, if you don't know what it is, I'm gonna put a picture on the video here. But like you can get them in our airport. And I think they're now $30 a piece, $25.
At least in Disney, they're $30.
I think at our airport they were $25.
I think so.
So check that out. But what they are is they're these dispensers, and the fuel rod is about the size of maybe like a think of if like a AA battery was like 3 times its size. It's kind of like a little cylinder. It comes with the little cords that you need to charge an Android or an iPhone. But basically, it can charge your iPhone, 80% or so.
Yeah.
It's not a lot of capacity. The good thing about it is you don't really have to worry about charging it because every park in Disney World has at least one location where you can walk up, stick your used fuel rod in it, and it will spit you out a freshly charged fuel rod. So you don't have to worry about, did I charge my external battery or did I not? Or do I have enough to charge somebody else's phone if we're in a line and all this. So that's why we like it. We can just throw it in the bag, and we don't even have to worry about charging it.
Right. Absolutely.
Swap it out.
Okay. So the next one I'm going to hit on is snacks.
Yeah.
So we don't tend to go park open to park close every day. We will either come back to the room and hang out, or we'll maybe not stay at a park until park close, and we'll come back and have some wine, and the kids will want a snack, and we've learned quickly that the vending machines in the resorts are very pricey. So
vending machines. I mean, everything's pricey.
Yeah. So we have started. We either pack like anything that will travel well. We'll pack the snacks, but Amazon Prime Now
is fabulous.
There are a couple other grocery services, but we tend to really like Amazon Prime Now. They don't always have every single exact thing that you want, but you can usually get your basic needs. This also is really great for if you have a baby and you need to pack, formula and diapers and all of that takes up a ton of space. You could do Amazon Prime Now, have it delivered, and then that way you're not having to find the extra room for all of those kinds of things.
So a couple things about that. Amazon Prime Now is a separate app from Amazon, so it's its own distinct app. Then when you download it, you can look ahead of time. So from before you embark on your vacation in your hometown, just make sure you type in the zip code of the particular Disney resort you're staying at, and it'll show you what's available. You need to order at least 2 hours in advance, and it will be delivered to Bell Services. So you'll have to go to Bell Services and pick it up, or you can call them, and then you just tip them $5 or whatever, and they can bring it to your room.
Yeah. And you can order perishable items as well. So
Yeah, we've gotten like milk and stuff. Yeah, for sure.
juice and eggs and whatever. So yeah,
For sure. Okay, I've got 2 more. How many do you have?
I have a few.
Oh, okay. Wow. All right. So, my second to last one is planning for adult beverages. So, if you are like us and you like to have maybe a couple beers or a bottle of wine or something in the evenings at the resort, if you want to buy it there, great. But bring a corkscrew with you because unless you have a room with a kitchen, you're not going to have a corkscrew available.
Or a bottle opener for.
Or a bottle opener. And then our favorite place, if you don't want to spend, a fortune for the really not very good wine at the Disney resorts, the bottles at the Disney resorts, there is a liquor store down there called ABC.
Yeah.
ABC Commissary or ABC Liquor or something like that. Anyway, it's ABC. There's several of them. Look it up. It's great. It's fabulous. They've got a great selection. Just Uber over there, grab whatever you want, and bring it back. And that works out well for us.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we typically do that, and it saves quite a bit of money.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. All right, so my next one is gum.
Yeah, because if you think you're going to buy it there...
It ain't going to happen.
Nope.
So we always pack our own gum. Me and the kids, me and Aiden specifically, really like to have it on the airplane if we're flying. But yeah, just even if we want it in the parks or something, we can't go purchase it somewhere, so pack your own.
Great tip. Okay, my last one is something that I've done every single Disney trip.
And it's brilliant.
It's something I picked up in the military. It is a hydration system. So Camelback is kind of the name brand of like kind of the most popular one, but it's basically a bladder in a backpack with a hose on it and a mouthpiece. And so my particular backpack has other pockets, so that's what we carry our ponchos in. We carry fans in for the parks. We carry our chargers. The fuel rod goes in there. Extra batteries for but this 3-liter bladder also fits in this thing. And so every morning at the resort, I go down to fill it up with ice. I fill it all the way up with ice. And then fill the rest of it up with water just in between the ice cubes. And so the ice melts throughout the day and turns into water, and we have 3 liters of water, which lasts the 4 of us at least half a day.
Yeah.
And then if we go have a table service restaurant or, if it's a particularly hot day, we can fill it up at a water fountain or something. But then you're not carrying around bottles of water or buying bottles of water or going up to quick service stations and getting cups of water that are like, 4 or 6 ounces. And it's super cold and it's handy. It's right there on my back. So if you're not deathly afraid of germs, all 4 of us, sip on that thing all day. And so we stay hydrated.
Yeah. And it really helps because I think if we had to stop and go stand in line for water, I'm not sure that we would do it as often as we probably should. And it gets really hot, and hydrating yourself is super important.
Right.
All right. So my next one is glow sticks. Come nighttime in the parks, there are little carts that get wheeled out that have nice, flashy, spinny, exciting, light up stuff. For
kid magnets.
Yes, kid magnets. And so if you want to try to avoid to purchase these, go to the dollar store, grab some packages of glow sticks, and then whenever they start saying, oh, but I want something that lights up, you can say, well, here you go, I brought something. Not saying that's always going to work because it has
glow
worked.
Necklaces, glow bracelets, all of that glowy stuff.
Yeah, it's worked for us, and then it's not worked for us. So, whatever. Okay, so also you briefly mentioned packing fans. We purchased those itty bitty teeny tiny little like handheld personal fans that run on a couple of AA batteries or something. And then that way, each of us, if we wanted, we can like hold a fan on a particularly hot day. We've also purchased a mister fan in the past. Because you can buy those in the parks, but once again, they're more pricey than you can buy them at Walmart. And then you can just be able to spray yourself and fan on a really, really hot summer day.
Oh, that also frog togs.
I have no idea what that word is.
So it was just a name brand of like this fabric thing that you can wet, and you can like snap it, and it'll cool itself somehow. Or They've got the kind that have like these like beads in the scarf or whatever, and you can wet it and like stick it in the refrigerator or something. Anyway, so you can get those things that are, it's more like a fabric that you wet and stick it around your neck and it cools you off.
Yep. Yeah, great. So I mentioned earlier the Mickey ears for hair. Also, don't forget ponytail holders, a hat possibly, and then if you have hair like mine and you want it to look kind of decent, get some really strong hairspray.
Yeah.
That will definitely help with the frizz factor. And then my very, very last one is if you want to be involved with trading pins, don't forget your lanyard and your pin prior to going, if you already have them. If you don't have your lanyard and everything in advance, and you're interested in it and you want to save a little bit of money, you can purchase those pins off of eBay in a bulk fashion, and then that way you'll have more pins to trade with.
So since you brought it up, we should probably explain what trading pins are.
Okay.
So Disney, in their infinite wisdom and search for more money, have created these pins, and they have about a bazillion of them, and they've got all kinds of characters on them, and there's one for every special event you could possibly imagine. So there's literally thousands that you could collect. But cast members walk around with these lanyards with these pins on them, and if anybody walks up to a cast member, you can trade any one of your pins for any one of theirs, and you can choose any one they want, unless it's turned around backwards, and that is a hidden mystery pin. And you can still have it, you just can't see it before you get it. And so you can do a 1-for-1 swap, but once the trade is done, it's done. And then if you like what you got, great. If you don't, go trade it to the next cast member that you see for something that you can see.
Yeah, and you can trade with each cast member, I believe, twice.
There you go.
Is the limit. And then even at locations, you'll see like a pin board, so you can go up
like
and
next
trade.
to a register.
Yeah,
if you see just a board with a bunch of random pins on it, that's what it is. You can go up and trade one of your pins for theirs.
Yeah. So it's a fun little activity. If you think that you're only going once to Disney World, it may not be something that you want to get involved in. But it wasn't until probably our second or third trip that the kids started kind of wanting to do it and get involved in it. So it's a fun thing. All right.
That's all I have. I think that's a lot of stuff.
It is. My list is usually quite long whenever I make our packing list. But hopefully that helps you out. If there's something we forgot, please message us, comment, let us know, because I'm always up for more tips on what I should pack. I might need to get some more suitcases, but I'm up for more tips.
Oh, man. I mean, as many times as we've done this, I can't imagine what else we'd be forgetting. Jeez.
That's true. Also, if you would go over to iTunes or Stitcher or wherever you listen to us on and go ahead and rate us and give us a review, we would really appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
And we're very thankful that there's somebody out there listening to us. So thank you for downloading and following us every week.
Absolutely.
All right. So until next time.
You've been listening to Addicted to the Mouse.